yup matie kabino la kelia ye
Sam's Crisip oberongira mwera madano weng mare Uganda. Jami pa Sam's timapo likine obero Crisps melayata, Crisps megonja, cookies, odi, berenge kemukene mapola ta. Nong jami pa Sam's Snacks e supermarket duju matilo baman. Sam's Snacks, no apora memite.
Kudio komeching ayedong a beach ni ano dwe piario ya bungwen wakali wario piario a dek watie studio wame wanlo TV kakele iwi yupwa me Rupiny kilo nyani ema akwar tien ya yo madane ati wani ket super lady Sara dong Sara choni ning de mada kitengeni ni biro mi nying me bed ambassador me
African woman
exactly
afoyo ichoni ning yin bene hairstyle cha wencha mkena biru kumena wani an mono year we emani any konga team ning to go back to that kind of natural hair matikere ni endo ka doga tamu lokki ket we cha wen kuman erni kudire cho wani no way
tware bere kuma
andon kumbeti honestly ema an part where luake manopa luako wiya I don't feel comfortable at all.
No way pe luake
no way pa luake I feel like tika mone mapa luako mabe so now I can't have long hair.
You can't have long hair.
Yes.
And that you're representing an African woman in terms of hair, Indong in terms of bar.
Fire went wrong.
Went wrong. We're missing it for one whole week.
Yes, I know. Beru kanen wucha wen no ti kudeko kumane wuni pat. And to an bere no bere tika pushing spots. Cha bon wen and then chamo kana these days ki gena ki University Football League no ati feel la wo wabero at unique that is University of Kisubi. I know Latina wobi mo achiel makwana University of Kisubi nero one luo TV. So achung atika lockdown wani may I say hello to you wani yes. Ni man super lady wani yes man super lady ni afoyo neniba awani anbe na foyo ni anini dong live and do you anini live TV man anini live dile ni mota ema kwero kijo mo kana when I was so happy.
Oh, that's nice.
Come on, and people are able to identify you with the brand that you stand for. Surely, I was very happy.
Indeed. You're not working in vain.
So,
Wagam, we are looking forward to Friday, maybe
Yeah.
So, cameraman Hamza giving no super lady.
By the way, with Hamza together, what you come Zakar in the University Football League? Hamza is such a good friend, and if you want to grow professionally, you need to have a person like Hamza in your life in terms of work.
Bet twal wati studio wakantin wani ket super lady ke kan patro batla rubi petika winyuma bet twal ento it's a women's affair wana rio ne wedoro ayup eni bet twal ching a beach eni pe wai galu cha wacha ko kicha molo ni cha meni po tien nendo piario wi bungwen de ma bungwen mwaka ali bario ki apa wi abichel 2016 ni malu chu a big dongu nyota kama leng me chu me presidential campaigns me 2016 gena bit me kila dir lo president yo wedum 7 ku bere no don gena bi chele ye gena no te Dr. Kiza Besigye me FDC mama Mbabazi me go forward Elton Joseph mabidizi manote independent ki Venetia's Bariamurieba manote professor me Makere University. Sara 2016 campaigns ukati with unexpected turn, especially with the entrance of Mama Mbabazi.
Mama Mbabazi and then Professor Venetia's Bariamurieba.
Yes.
Madana when you were kapenyekere ni ngomu wa professor tikachar I politics. Madana when tama ni professor miyoberi or the clutch. Professor Enobere, Professor Megan, and Science and Technology, Computer Science and Technology. I remember today Makere University being one of the best universities in terms of science and technology. Mora Wayne Obero and Riahopa, Professor Venetia's Bariamurieba. Timothy Mabet Twal. And I think of late academias are also now thinking going into elective politics because gain academias they think ni Luchumi will be a petika representing Tampa Dana Mabe. Dogitama ni that academia mind mone magitikere ni gituwero kakelo within politics. Now that did not work for Bariamurieba because one, it didn't have a political base. You see, in Mechungchal president me Uganda kung machel you need to have a political base. Bariamurieba aki Western Uganda. Kama Museveni beno aye and Dr. Kano Kiza Besigye bene aye then John Patrick Amama Mbabazi JPAM.
JPAM.
Gen wengi akuno so and he was more affected. Now, And yet compared to Kizza Besigye Kije Pam, without talking about Museveni necessarily for now, Inwoni then Amama Mbabazi no obero Prime Minister Gamente Museveni, obero Minister Main Security, like ever since the time Museveni or capturing power in 1986, Amama Mbabazi obero tie all through. So how things twisted all of a sudden. More neno Amama Mbabazi wa you know what, I'm launching a bid. I remember even Democratic Party supported Amama Mbabazi.
Yes, so chaka wa 2014 maki kwanya kere replacing and Kiro Hakana Rogudani.
Yes. And who moved the motion? Honorable Evelyn Anite. If you remember that very well.
Yes.
At Gena Ichankwanzi wa ini Muzei Pakalas.
Yes, Mugunkere
Penye. Yes, she was the one. And remember, initially information more no at first Amama Mbabazi no tiaroka penetrating. Remember, he's been the Minister of Security.
Yeah.
Then be the Prime Minister. Like, knew everything in and out. Or penetrating system, the whole members of Parliament, Mapul, NRM, no gitika chwake. And there was that notch they wanted to change leadership in NRM.
But Sarah, it didn't bear any fruit, honestly speaking.
Yeah, it did not bear any fruit because Chawama Kiluo Anita, sorry. So things twisted. Now, gingu chara chankwanze mabe gubere mabe tutwal. So mono the campaign process on tika launching do mabe. Nerwa chel Anite urumo pay ni muzei ian watika ligi chui muzei paka last baby charo kamo.
Mera islang me paka last bedong chakere.
Amama loko kumane loko wani kuma inspects wani hulu. Man in the maternity company. Now that is how things befell. Now yes. As for Besigye, of course, that was the climax for Besigye. If you remember, after 2011, Besigye uno that mega support. Now in 2016, it was even more mega.
Yes.
To the extent that ni damu mapol, damu ni election mi 2016, ene Besigye oloyo.
But the Besigye campaigns, Madwong Sara, joke ana tamini.
Because the Uganda kiwani ilo election electoral commission has announced your name.
Exactly. But so, another dramatic entrant was Mabirizi, Elton Joseph Mabirizi. From nowhere, Sarah, he came into the political scene. Now
for me, I wanted to believe Ingeo politics is very funny. I remember Manoati Makere University. Kawa nuoni kampangar monitek totual. What do we do to divide the kampangar erani? A candidate money mitamoni is like tiki likelihood me dividing me poko idano. So and you place you even facilitate the process pangar erani for an election. Let me say like for GRC. You want to weaken that college in Miro College mamigi this amount of votes. Now I want to believe ni Mabirizi did not just come from nowhere. Because if you remember, in that election, Dana when you get it from Western Uganda. So atamuni la dit Museveni wani no. Nyoki jome enani. Might not even be Museveni himself.
Maybe
might even be his own people. Might even be a mama himself.
Ngaro mo merma wili widano.
Hey, ni ko okelu ko ngena Mabirizi ko bin ko kakenyi anika wili widano. Unfortunately, Mabirizi enani pu wili widano. People still remain. The major contest was between Dr. Kano Kizza Besigye Rachel Ki President Yoweri Museveni Kaguta.
Sarah, speaking of wili widano, in 2021 the wili widano were many. Katumba oye. Mabirizi berada kodugo. Ikena 2015 there was also a bed bonica sorry pakwano nye. But Luwilu Dano in 2021 were many. Katumba oye o Wilu Dano distracting Dano from
now that was an antidote pa Chagulani. Gena antidote ma these political mafias gingu creating. Ni maybe because Chagulani tika waini he's coming from a young perspective to divide support and loyalty pa Vulu. What do you do?
Okay, even a younger person.
Who is a younger person, but unfortunately, the younger person was not serious. You saw the last day nomination for the GMNO for Tutum. I mean, as in like seriously speaking, the truth of the matter is, if you coin it all together, election in Uganda is just a shamble.
Clearly. Nero matine nero malo chung abichi elwengu katika maleng mechung nget President Yoweri Museveni make campaigns by 2026-2021 wakwana nyenge no be Dr. Kizza Besigye Mama Mbabazi Abed Monica Venetia's Bariam Rieba Elton Joseph Mabirizi kidongla dilo President Yoweri Museveni. lok lobo kumbeti highlights ne ngoma tikatime kumbeti Gamente tika wachi mir kitima tek wake nen ki chwale internet bot Lutedero gen on ene makumbedong dana wen tika tikeri wai ki bechako you potol me internet kilomita yemaro mia bier piera dekwerio e Uganda ene wake nene dana wen iken ping kumbedi gitiki yo me tiki internet galok ene bedo state minister ne mengo state minister me ICT Godfrey Kabyanga ayo berka loko in majority is screen ma megi anonym Sarah, before we go to internet make it tall wire me internet ka dan ko ngeti kon ki computer. Let's start from there.
Must we have a computer?
No, by computer,
how about the phones?
Computer by computer, I mean, my camera don't say electronic.
Yeah.
Because the phone is also a computer.
Yeah.
Laptop gig ni weng dong
Chawa
be computer electronize egini.
Yes.
Dano ngeti kitke.
Dana di maging yote yuke gikuma chel kong. Very few of them.
Yes.
Another was sampling during the last election, 2021 general elections. You remember the time more through that election, we were under COVID. Any campaign should be scientific. And the scientific was that candidates were supposed to use the various forums, such as social media.
Yes.
Yeah? Social media mono kiwaje Twitter, kiwa Facebook, konongongo, Instagram, and the when. Enter the challenge more noted there during that campaign, new election, was Dana Mapol pegging you to you key computer. Wachim erni, inoni ngarmoti gireki wile gira chim na tiki smartphone. Yeah? Enter me operating smartphone konki operating nini Dana Mapol pegging you my bed.
Yes.
Kichwalo information mano mingarmo miro up downloading your uploading bene pegging you uploading ki downloading. Jemi maduong tutwal. So it takes us back ni computer literacy or technology anymore. What are we doing about it? and it tells you the education sector in Uganda has to change. Curriculum has to change again. Now this internet that we are talking about,
yes.
Computer from school,
yes,
primary.
Yes. Mir primary. Internet ma pia kichwalo dan ko ngeti kede warning get leb internet me LAN one wide area network large area network egini weng mir ko ki fonki dan war dan ko ngang ko the basics and the importance of internet peraj gera iwa nyom ni because kumbeti it doko check nyotwer padana ni we should all have access to the internet because it's where the world is going, Sarah. So
for me I think we go back to the basics. Maka kifunyo latiani primary up to primary 1. Let me say okay primary 2 perhaps up to the time magi okay secondary. By the time latiani about okay P6 no latini ngoti yuki computer. So when you're talking about this internet usage they are going to know. But also another challenge is yes, if you look at the internet usage you want to look at areas like cyber security. Yes. Mirabere has to be tight a little bit. Now if everyone has the access to internet, what is my cyber security about? How safety am I against cyber crimes?
Machalo hacks. Security harassment online.
Me, torturing me, all those things. How safe am I? Mono, those are some of the things. Yes, because you're going to give people internet, and now you look at countries like USA, because Dan went to internet, someone has the right. Me, Malotini no Donald Trump. What they want.
At time Uganda the idea, the goal is always good. And to kit maki rolling kare yetek. Nana PDM wati dano chan watin wadire kichaka rolling out PDM before kifonyo dano kita gine wati kere. Awati watch internet perach ento kon ki phone dan kon ki basics
gini mo advantage
beneti kwe raje tika kwe twer ndi tika kwe na itike mak ne ning en chimi en computer ne kon ki phone ki dan kon basics eno ne kanun ki rolling out internet
atamani away from that now mierbe wanen kon bear pa internet usage kumbete enani ma chairman minister state minister junior minister migene me ICT ka waje kere Mr. Godfrey Kong ma achel kong watika neno kumbeti eneni dana mapoli gitika chat ki will is now going online. Now this can only happen but no there is sufficient internet and at an affordable price. Aberu loke one time ki anon manano my friend who plays rugby in the US. Why ni in the US kei donye ba donye dege kuman and there's free Wi-Fi. All through by the way. Free Wi-Fi. And yet for us here, a year why you're not supposed to surf in a plane. And for them it is a vice versa. He was traveling from US to London, and I was chatting with them. Why? How possible? For us here there is Wi-Fi. So which means again, even issues of security, they have technology. At what point? Now, because Emma and Sarah gitika mirokatimu business, but they cannot be in these business centers at that some point in time. At the same point in time, Emma and Sarah has to work here. And their side businesses. You know the economy is hard now. You have to multitask. You need internet.
Of course.
Kumbeti Emma, like for instance, you in natural hair. Kaitiki your natural hair products. I mean, you just go online, upload on Facebook, on Twitter, and say, guys, this is my product. Ngarmo message, and then you just deliver. And we're seeing this is now happening.
Pera tekma dani wa phone tiki internet ni ada. Iwa yu omni kameta team wa chini internet or what get.
But are they going to give that internet really, Emma? That is also the question.
Ela pen mawa itenye bordok bena mawa care it but chok kache uchako teach wa beki care mekele na iyo lok makono. Wamiro kumberi wa chet wa district member Cindy kama kumberi kite wa chet la monle kumbeti la monle timu chelo dana mara mario. Makiti wacha chelo to on the spot chel kumberi tika nansing vonyo ret yat mema Cindy lutinga ene weng lutinga pangara chel magi wacha ni mego ena mena chel screen gi wacha ni la monle time le mon lo geninga Rangers, yes.
Game Rangers.
In Murchison Falls National Park, Kenya. Kubieno guno tika na bula rio ene kumako gi kiti wacha ni resisting ma arrest ena wako kichiro achel ene Lutedero wacha ni joini no gipikitika poaching ay ngo kileba chuli
poaching chero ka gena ka dua mono dua
kama
no chero ka dua kama no peki ye
ni beri ye
ento one gera chala chuli kilaun kia luwa ngene dua is illegal to our side ento tunsa Gamente gera
is not legal yes so ento joini be peko chero ka dua peko chero ka poaching in Murchison Falls joini lumonle ni mera kichilo guchilo mera chil ene out of pedong wange so kubeti ki mako geo ajala chel eno niti ariat o mena che Sarah where can we draw the line between teach against poaching pian one mo wange ni poaching be is a dangerous thing pian in a few years le mokana will become extinct piano kidnap madano nero leti me chama niti da duong bana
ingeo kong first of all dano mi yerkoni yang kong lok makilwoni security is entirely in the hands of the security personnel Magina ye gitiki mandate megwa kokong national reserve centers like game parks enoni gine gigwa so at a point ma inke chair kono makaki waini you come here bin ka kany enoni ikwero definitely kali no ni in pe chair ka duanye chair ka poaching they will put any case on you charges on you because it is you against the government mono gin mumiero kong ma chel ko wa phone ko anywale ma mekwa me Uganda ni Gen money makaki waini chari park ki waini chunka kenye and you better stand. To gai chung kiteri ka money you maybe kiteri police but if you the moment you resist this mono kari an bene Emma ke bini compounder. Ininga and then ate wai bin kanye tika kwere. Wouldn't I think you
I would think maybe I would think there's something. I
go do so I want to look at these two-way traffic. Even the citizens mamekwa Puri gen getiki tamachon metekwa mekwa ni park and mekwa the park is for government and the government is you and me.
Yes.
So mean you need they have the rare species leamoni matika Kenya and magini giti guakone dana magicher Murchison National Park gicher kigezi kakwera ni wen gicholo chante in dollars and chante and at the end of it all is for growing your economy.
But also Sarah karbena ni ane ijuaka ni ati war kama no mira power ye and I was resisting arrest. It is not up to you mechelu chel anyhow even if I were guilty in any way even if bulario eno giti guilty me poaching you me dua kama mi repeko dua ye game ranger eno me repo chela church anyhow ichela church you don't have a right me ne ko ngara mone ka joni were guilty me kite ikwana ikot ni buja yote ngo a verdict and so any terror lock me abuse of gun use.
Yes, abuse of gun use but much as gipera bene kitwer minne ko ngarmo but at the same time bene check bene dok megi gibene twer anabela tin palamoy ki wani itwer kati ki mudogoni for defense in case in there ni Jimmy money petika what in your own favor like kaitika kwor ka bir money but kano pichel kano mir kichel vulu and I think they should have shot the leg.
Yes, not to kill.
Kigena kitimgo kichel that one you'll understand ni at least no tika rin white chiwa timungo wa chelu tiene wekwa joko ka kany enni but to the extent madai chelu kany enni bare kingoni mon nyurni maybe you had another intention wa mego bere mapato twal ariyo most of these game rangers mapol gitiyu kenye enni dano mieru ni angi jonity psychological torture also ke mon mapol enni wen mo ti no ni ngar mo beri lum for more than 3-4 months po nero dagone po nero family ne gwak nyo bene pe kitika cholo mabe nyo ka kiniga me duong so indo ke ngolo de why ko man enemy you become a simba and simba of course is a lion definitely why ni man to tika bino ko man and why let me do this and remember gin giberi game pack gipere ki kamo mir giren ye ni ngado mir konya so ngarmo why ni okay fine what if ngad enemy ti adu ko
they can't know.
You cannot know. So I want always to tell you Ghana the mere watch ki annually mameka tutwale joma giber chok ki pak ya muro ka kenyu pak watch enoni masini ma noya even the people in other parts of Uganda, the western Uganda, please and please make sure that you stay away from the game parks. Make chair come on and they tell you do not please because muchore pa mudoko peba mudoko kado cheli yo
koni do gek ki gumara chotwa la mon le team magiti longeni game rangers le mon kumbe ki chelo dana ye ario tete munyo akane kan wani ket sara amiro wa kumbe tiki masindi wa cheria Rua City kama loke da kwa kuno da munyene mek pengo pian kumbe te yup manyen medongolo kitika kirone ya Rua City kitika katiki physical plan manyen ma a physical plan ene wukelu jema beje twal machalo ka turu ke yubo Sara amara ne ke yubo ka turu work kariben ni city tie there's green space there's stadium as such but di ba kama recreation center di ba kama dana na machara kitim physical activities machalo turo kingongo gi eni an kiti wachine physical plan ene buter kilometers ye maromo miario kia bichel 206 kilometers loye plan machon manati kilometers piara bichele ken Rua City is really growing at a fast pace.
Yeah, Rua City tika down at the first pace because of the vicinity of South Sudan, Kidiarasi. You understand? South Sudan, Kidiarasi. So automatically business in fact among the cities of northern Uganda, Atawani city matika down your is the Rua City, then maybe perhaps followed by Gulu and then later last. Yeah. Atamoni plan magitikele plan mabet twal. We talked about the issues of green space one time here, one kiriki part. Most of our cities, not only Uganda, but most of the cities in Africa are not green. And when we're talking about issues of climate change, Mati climate change ambassador ki activist. Mayano bero wani challenge madimu watikere matak tualtini. Even if you walk in our streets, you walk in the cities, Mapol, in only green space. Green space, come on, Mako, wine a chair, this is all green all through. My chair make a birmurumi. Now, this is not there. Rua City, Kenya, for me, Rua has been a little bit so. First of all, it is a flat. Apart from being flat, it's very dry. Very challenging water city, man. Very challenging water morot.
Soroti
even Soroti is flat and dry. And yet, one kikomwa, watuero kapitungo, watuero kapitu yen, watuero kapitu moto, watuero kapitungo, and we even water these plants. Arua, by the way, is not a city mani chengrieng totuan, kot benechwe Arua. So I think plan Magingo Katekere is going to be a very good plan. But the challenge is, why would Rua City look good and then the capital city, Uganda, Kampala, is not like that? So government, because of course more when comes from the government's gain, because I know China and the Aki World Bank, developing these cities. Government has to wake up a little bit. Yeah, I was even shocked the other time when I went to Mbale. Some of the green areas in Mbale, they are tampering with them already.
I'm telling you.
I am like, really, this is not the Mbale city I grew up in. Wanado Mbale city, even when it is during...
Mbale used to be the cleanest city.
Yes, Kumbeti Mbale is the dirtiest city in Uganda. And for me, I felt bad. Ada politicians, why you guys? No. Mbale cannot be like this. Because Mono, that is my childhood city. Anado. So, I think Lokmarua Magitika Timenebe, two opening access roads.
Yes.
Already at Watiki roads,
even stadiums give you
the mini stadiums, of course, mini stadiums. Now, if you talk about issues like the Pamoja bid, you talk Makon Wabilo Pierre about the AFCON and when if you had facilities and stadiums already in place, you know, you need them there. Rugby is growing. You also need maybe all those. I think what Arua is doing is quite very well. Yes. And in the meantime, Wabine Arone, Dano Mapol don't move Kampala, but back to northern Uganda.
Ngara dong mira bedong beru de Kampala ne bedong pe. Kampala it might become like a ghost town. Kamadana chero wele jemi.
Kampala will never be a ghost town. No one should lie to you.
I might use the word might.
Because Kampala which is the center of Uganda.
Which means there's a possibility or there's no possibility.
No.
So might keyword might become a Madana wele jemi chige chero walk. Because the outskirts of Uganda are doing very well. Chiaro Gulu painting my bed, Chiaro Mbale painting my bed, Arua Kasese, Kabarole.
Whereas the only thing I must appreciate is City Mamekwa Kampala is that the fact that Jamie went to Marejo and the cost of living in Kampala is very cheap.
It's cheaper than many places.
Cheaper than Gulu, cheaper than Arua, cheaper than Moroto. You can imagine Kampala City. But the roads.
You want to right? Kung nung mamita nyim kichawa me abokala mamir na matur ngoma dakta kati kitong kumali me gana mer chakne kubeti ki iumoro kama kiti wacha tian nyaka chel kubeti ubola tian mamege matiki due chapiat adeka kan ichuron sara lok ini kiti wacha ni lam tian nyako ba pela tian nyako tian da mo kapia rio we chel nye kolgana pio onyo tian ne kilum kilwar matek dok madir twal pian o miene no chima wai ni pe mir la miena o nywal ke gang la kori tim ene malo tiana nyera nywal ke gang pe ke cher ka chogini en pe mir beri family la tini kilwar ke ie
oh dear
cher kanne lum o nywal la tiana ke lum ten la tiana be lum kono kwala pinera dek pidwe chabira dek ka cher dor la tini kilum dugu gang ten la tiana lum kwale cher dor la tien dugu gang Niano ene dong after chabir da dek niano pe chabir after niana dek udok ni cher ka kwale ka dot la tiene sorry point of correction niana dek no mar kom la tien ki worms de kom la tien ki luor dong tin la tien bole choron la tien pi oto eno miene madong ti chimo wa to twale in ke nywal ki gang kono ngo no cher choron when la tien don kok kichuron ping kon by the time I don't kill la tien don la tien to man ke ma la tien ya enni pi lok menek any cases madong sara to tien di mo di ma ko nywal ki gang dok nga mo wa chi nywala dong is the number one sin nywal ki gang ay dong is the number one sin any terwa kono tim gero kono padange kira mirwa chakere pian la chim wang nyaka na yo kozi nyaka na meti mo pa ko
iye kon o giano tego iye kikwe
pi engi lutian matian en ka h ma chel be cha ko ne kana wadu e bo wan panan
and I want to blame the brother
even me
seriously because latien nyako ko nywal ki gang nyoko yach the best you can do is kong me ascertaining ngamu be road each enemy after ngamu be road each enemy kano latien enemy kwano ibi penyo keje furiti kamiro kamete ki kwan ke nywal keje pebi mete ki kwan because I want to tell you honestly and that can never happen to any of my relatives ni kono latino no each and I say
but sara ngegen any duongo twal e ken gaima megwa ma o megu ni cha kana wa woge bena anyira me ponywal ki gango chet ka chogbu poke lutino loku kan lok en cha kana duwe ke thing anyira magenwal gang kichimo wangi there's discrimination there's torture emotional torture
and this comes as a result of patriarchy
yes
and also as a result of our culture norms and what it kidano juini the norms and the values culture norms and values me Africa are designed by men Not women. Men themselves. Cho ene birni dago miero po yach ki gang. Dago miero po nyual ki gang. Latin nyako miero po ekono chebola cho manu for pe kinyomo. Latin nyako kono there is no woman magi berke pe ni wani kong check ene wa miero ker ene me culture ni. Yini tamningo as a woman. Wono beru as men. Chalo cho ukati wono ki chick. Ni kono dago miero po nyual ki gang timngo. Man today latin ene inflicting pain on herself that she will never heal of it.
And ngay gana berkatam ne Sara ne by la time malatene chero nyual kilum.
And chero doro latine
kilum. First of all, o mateni ni ingay kit menyual. O nyual ka be kena ilum kono. Ki me first aid ngo. Placenta ki kwanya ni ning, ulwaka ni ning. Ingay jim eguni tetanus vaccine ging egin wake meyo. En kong ki kome live alone latien ma eno nyuala kilum eno ni treatment en ma mir ini nonga che fidi nyuala ni ngamu meyo ira ka che.
And for me I want to urge the police katika gunywa mabet to one. I think I will be a neighbor or men nyago eni has to go to the cells because he's an accomplice or enobero as a result mu wa nyago ni otimu la ko de la team enoni luoro because enya luoro nyago ni and the virtual fact that ni nyago ni no ki gang cher dor latine lum clearly showed you that no mar latine
yes no peki intention
but Mario ben where is the husband or the boyfriend whatever I don't want to say the husband ngan mu wa latine eno yachika kwere. Emma, I want to tell you, women will go through a lot. And when I conceived Kinyara, so of course I was still at campus. At time between me and the father of my kid, should we abort this kid? Of course we had very many misgivings. I don't want any baby aborting. Now, I went and told my brother, unfortunately, the father of my kid refuses to turn up to go and see my brother. Jo wachani kapeti mukumano enani school fees pere. Can you imagine that moment? And that is how I applied for a dead year when I was at Makere University. Why any what? So my professor called me, why you know you can't drop out of campus. You're too bright. What you can do, the best you can do is apply for a dead semester because I was in first year, second semester. So annual, after annual, a dog. Peda beru gango meraba. I never stayed at my brother's place until I finished. In fact, my brother did not know how I finished university. Only in 2016, graduating, so I sent him a message that I'm going to graduate. Would you love to accompany me? A graduation, why no? I'm going for my honeymoon in Paris, in France. But because I had people who believed in me, Lurema, and I go which Padana Chalo no but Mao, honorable no but Mao, Dharma honorable Joshua, the former member of parliament, the constituency, William Agnolito, Matthew, the director of LICO, Gino Gitu program per month. So they looked at me, we can't allow this talent that you have and Riamiti to be wasted. You're going to go back to university. And that is how Gokonyagu raising my tuition to finish university, and I managed to raise my child and go back and study at the same time. But you imagine, Tim Girl and Etieba, because it happened to me too.
And Sarah, you might say in all the doing Latin any we can say in Mara Pierre where jail, Ichar Kuja, no which before Toja, Sarah.
Of course, which for Toja, because she's not exposed.
Yes.
So you can imagine, I'm just trying to relate that because these are situations that some of us have gone through, you know. You're being rejected. And they rejected me because I produced a child before getting married. But am I not better off than many of them? Money, okay, fine, I'm going to be wedded and whatsoever. How many marriages have failed? And I always want to ask people, ni dharma wajane Latin nyaho miero chero nyualki gange marriages are matika failing. Dharma Paul are being wedded, but they're being dumped.
Sarah, any kadong lock mete gang tika chwalo wero tian ma megwa. Any before we're tackling lock palatian mato chani, Latian en makiti makane buchi kono. What is her health? Inero?
Yes.
Onyual nining kumbeti monyual kenani. Uno first aid nyut.
And Mario, Emma, Mafuri closing up this discussion. Normally, all the fingers are pointed at the girl child.
Yes.
Where is that boy child? Where is the man, Suji boy child or man child, whatever they call themselves? Where are they? You know? So for my case, my brother was blaming me left, right, center. But I loved my uncle, my mother's brother. Stood with me, Waini Latin Palamera, Babi Weri. He stood with me, ki pregnancy, I stayed in Kampala until I gave birth. You understand? And Omera Waini no. So you can imagine Omego are the biggest problems of our girls at home.
Keep bullying,
yes, keep bullying, keep torture. Blaming Latin Yaro. How about Chari Kongu Muti Muperonikon? What are they doing to him? Why must I be the one to be condoned? Do I go and rape myself and get pregnant? So it's very pathetic, Emma. So at the end of it all also, but we also have to encourage the girl children. Need try as much as possible. Use contraceptives. Tiki condom. Tiki family planning. Ke tamoni no ni chawa foodie. Iti meroberu kila cho. Ento bene umeru ge ki gang. Pedo richard me de charme fu kumeno eroni just at least protect yourself.
Yes.
So that ketika chamu jamini chamgere mabe ento no the repercussions. Eno chamu mere atare no kumen at the end of it all it is us women.
Kibene wumro fonjo tiena wa mebere ki gena le mo alwoni confidence. You should stand up for yourself. Ngar mo peramor yemi ki dikalpa woro ina we.
No nyako eni no if she was empowered. No nyako no chair police wani an
umera tiriema ki gang.
By the way wono mego there is you have no right Miriam Latin nyako ki gangi.
Whether
she has given birth or not,
yes.
You have no rights. That home belongs to her. More gangi eno.
Gangi eno.
Yes.
Ka wona pe oriemo in per
Miriam.
Ina alo. Loka kumbeti bunyine dak liet umor kumela tien nyako maka piario wi achel. Onyo la tien ne na dek kwale cher dara kilo minyungi ne na dek la tien mara king ngongogi chako cham la tien kwa la tien bole churon. Pi ger mano meno ker komeni ponywal ki gang lok mo tete mo nyakane wani sara kan bunyene liet kumer ki magla tine ti police america wa yue mano kada ko du ko nen jimo kene ichawa me apokala
Yup mai beru kaneno ne lekelia ye
Sam's Crisip obengira mwera madano weng mare Uganda. Jami pa Sam's timapo likine obero crisps melayata, crisps megonja, cookies, odi, berenge kimukene mapola ta. Nong jami pa Sam's snacks e supermarket duju matilo baman. Sam's snacks, noa pora mamite.